Hi, welcome everyone. I'm going to just read a little script here before we start as part of the introduction. So, I'm Dean Yasuda. I'm the facilitator for this evening. And I'd like to welcome you to our Foundation for Conscious Living's Big Leap Home online programs. So these programs support individuals, organizations, and communities in generating agency, connection, and creativity on our shared planet. So I'd like to invite everyone into a commitment. So if you're willing, if you want to close your eyes or you just want to listen and just see what how these words flow into your body right now. We find that learning works best when we choose to bring curiosity, openness to learning, and appreciation of ourselves and others into the space. So I'd like to start off with an appreciation for all of you for taking some time out this evening to join me in this community and play and learn a little bit more about breathing. And take a moment, and I would love for all of you to appreciate yourselves for showing up tonight and taking this time to learn and discover more about yourself and more about what we have to share here in the Hendricks world. So thank you. So yes, breathing and learning to love ourselves. It's a fascinating idea, I find anyway. And how many of you are familiar with Gay Hendricks and this teaching? Just raise your hand. Hey, all right. And just for curiosity, there's no judgment here. How many of you have a breathing practice that you do, a daily breathing practice? Good. Nice. Yeah. So this is just an opportunity to play with breathing techniques more, be open to learning. If you haven't done this breathing practice, so be open to learning another breathing practice. I like to experiment with different breathing practices and see which one feels the best in my body and not, stick to one. And for me right now, not right now, I find that the yes breath that Gay Hendricks has created and introduced into our world and into our community is I love it because it's such a flowy, easy breath that you can do anytime, anywhere, when we remember. That's the first shift is remembering we breathe automatically. Awesome. That's why we're here, we're alive. That's great. But to bring it down and take deep, full, slow belly breaths, because it takes about 3 to 4 beautiful, slow, conscious breaths to get us back into our creative brain, I like to call it, and not our reactive brain. And so I've been studying with Gay and Katie for the last 8 or 9 years, and I remember one of the first trainings I went to. It used to be all in person, and it would be like 8 days of pretty. I found it pretty intense, like 9 to 5, and it's just like after a while, my brain was like, "Oh my goodness, what's wrong with me? I'm still screwed up. I did all this work and nothing's, I'm still like and and also I'm also a personal trainer. I'm a big leap coach, and I went to their leadership and transformational program that Katie and Gay did, and I'm a personal trainer. So I was like, I know how to breathe. I run. I breathe good. I breathe well. I got a big chest of air. I can breathe or learn how to have breath. And as I was learning the yes breath and bringing the breath down into my belly and really opening that up, that's when all my feelings, that's when I was in touch with feelings and really the big part was feelings. There's things that I was like, oh, what is this stuff coming up here? What's these emotions that I pushed down my whole life being, the man in this world and culturally Japanese. So my father was very, strict and rough. And so when I learned how to breathe, I said, oh, now I know what feelings are. Well, now I know how to feel because I didn't, scared and anger and sadness. That wasn't even in my, I was like, I don't get scared. I don't get angry. I'm from Hawaii. I'm chill. Come on, relax. Sad, yeah, I might get a little sad in a movie. I might do a little tear. But anger and scared was like, no way. And like I said, as I started practicing this breath, it really opened up so much in my life. It released so much in my life. Just this pressure of life and being a man, plus, and I was in the military for 20 years. So that just all added into chest up, stomach tight, stand up straight, don't speak, this stuff that just traumatized me for all these years. But anyway, one of the tosses that Katie gave out in one of the first trainings, she's like, "There's a lot of information I just laid on you, but just choose choose one thing that really caught you, and just practice that, and it'll all start intertwining with your life and with everything else that you're looking for as far as transformation." So I did the breathing, and I did that. I've been doing it every day, a 20-minute breathing practice, and it's so amazing to think that breathing can do so much for our body, and to bring me home, bring me into my creative brain in a shorter gap from when I'm getting triggered or angry or scared or sad, that I can always come home with 3 or 4 beautiful breaths. So right now, how are you doing with your breathing? How's your breath right now? Is it flowing easy? Feeling expansive? And then for now, just take some easy breaths. It doesn't have to be down in your belly. Just breathe your normal breath, whatever it is. Just take some nice slow breaths. Try to do about a 4 to 5 second inhale and a 4 to 5 second exhale. And as we go along, I'm going to show you the yes breath, but for now, just notice your breathing as you're listening, as you're learning, as you're discovering tonight. Notice your breathing. Notice when you're holding your breath, and then just exhale. Take an easy breath in. And then, this module tonight is about self-love. So even if you find yourself holding your breath or not breathing easily, just love yourself right where you are, right as you are. Nothing's wrong, nothing to fix. Just you and yourself and your breath. Okay. So I'm going to play with introducing the yes breath. So I'll go and demonstrate first, and then if you know the yes breath, just practice as I'm speaking, and if anybody else doesn't, then I invite you to play with this breath and experiment and give yourself that some time in your next few months to just really like take maybe 5 minutes of this yes breath and see what changes happen. You know, I don't guarantee anything in this in life except yeah, we're gonna die. That one I can guarantee you, you're gonna die one day. But I can, from my experience and everyone else that I've known, if you practice this breath at least 5 minutes every day, just 5 minutes every day, any time of the day, something will shift. Something beautiful is going to shift in you, and you might not even know. You're not going to know what it is. It's just going to stop. Something's going to happen, and you're going to go, wow, I feel better. My mind feels clearer, or I'm not getting triggered as much, or my body's telling me to breathe when I'm in reactive brain. Something's happening. The body will say, breathe, and that's what I've been finding true. So yeah, let me play with this first. So I'm going to show you what the yes breath looks like, and we'll do it standing too, as Marshall doing. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be sitting on the edge of your chair. And this one I'll show you first, and then we'll go through it. So if you haven't done it. So basically, you're going to be sitting on the edge of your chair with your feet flat on the ground. And you're going to, I'll do a little angle here so I can speak. And the first part is you're going to be breathing your normal breath, and it's just going to be the movement. So it's going to be a rounding of the back, and it's just a very gentle movement. You're not overstraining or you're not doing it to stretch. You're just making it gentle. So you're rounding your back gently, and then you're arching your back. Okay? So that's the first movement to just be noticing right now. And you're going to want to do that about 4 to 5 seconds on each movement. So 4 to 5 seconds arching, 4 to 5 seconds rounding. And this is called the yes breath, created by Dr. Gay Hendricks. You're keeping your head in a neutral position, and you'll notice as I round and arch my back, my head automatically goes up and down, and that's why it's called the yes breath. And then if you bring your thoughts down into your pelvic area, you're going to notice that it shifts. So it automatically shifts without, you don't have to think about it. As you round your back, your pelvis will tilt back. As you arch your back, the pelvis will tilt forward. Right in there. You can also imagine that your pelvis is a bowl of water. So as you round your back, the water pours out. As you arch your back, the water pours forward. Now, once you get that movement going, then we'll add the breath in. So as you arch your back, you bring the breath down into your belly. And as you round your back, get the breath out. And if you can do it through your nose, that would be ideal. So I like to just show how I like to imagine filling my air up. So I'm So that's the basic yes breath. So we can start practicing if anyone has any questions before we start the actual practicing part. And if you're doing it already, that's great. Does anyone have any questions or no? Okay. And also be aware of if you feel lightheaded or basically if you feel lightheaded, then just stop. Take some easy breaths, because if you're not used to breathing down into your belly, you can get lightheaded because you're getting a dose of oxygen and you're not used to it. So you can feel like, whoa, what's happening? So pause, just take some easy, your own easy breaths, and then you can continue again. Okay? And if you have back problems too, if you have back problems, then really keep it easy. Because it's also with this breath, what I find is it also engages your back muscles. So you're actually getting a little movement back there. You're strengthening your back muscles and your spine at the same time, because it's a little movement. And I love it doing meditation, because I used to meditate and I would just fall asleep. But now that I have a way of breathing, it really opened up my meditation practice. Like, oh, okay, this is what they're talking about. Yeah, so go ahead and get yourself comfy in your seat. As long as your back is off the backrest, have your feet planted on the ground. And then before we start, just kind of move your shoulders around and just wiggle around a little bit. Because often I find, and what I've noticed when breathing, coaching people breathing and everything, we get our student persona comes on and our do it right persona comes in there, and like, okay, I gotta do this right. I gotta make sure everything is exactly what it says. So really be gentle with yourselves, be kind and loving to yourselves as we do this. Okay? Okay, so is everyone ready? Then just start with the gentle arching and rounding of the back. Just keep it in your comfort zone. Just a very small movement. So you're arching and rounding. And now just breathe your normal breath, and then we'll add the breath in. Just breathe easily right now. See if you can find that 5 or 6 second rounding and arching. So you're rounding your back for 5 seconds, and then arching for 5 to 6 seconds. So it's a very slow movement. Notice your pelvic area. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Deborah.
I was just wondering how far back you should tilt your head. And should it go way down to your chin to your chest on the forehead?
So if you just keep your head in a neutral position, and as you round and arch your back, it'll just move by itself. You don't have to do anything to move your head.
Okay. So you don't try to look at the wall behind you.
No, no.
Okay.
Or look at the floor.
All right, I get you. Thank you.
And as you're rounding and arching, you'll notice your pelvic area is tilting. Just get that motion. Make it as easy as you can. And then if you're not used to belly breathing, I like to have people put their one hand over their navel, so you can feel your belly blowing up like a balloon. And as you round your back, it's gently squeezing toward your spine. And the more you practice this breath, your goal is to not have any pausing or any stopping of the breath. So you don't want any holding of the breath. So as you breathe in slowly, especially that transition from the in breath to the out breath, and the out breath to the in breath, you want to keep that flowing in the same rhythm. Like I said, after you practice more, you can really fine tune your breath. Sometimes I have people use their hands. If you're visual or you like motion, you can, as you inhale, you can use your hands and just have your hands be the lead of your breath. Rounding, arching, having the breath come in. Sometimes syncing up your hand and your breath can really help. All right, let's go ahead and take a pause. Just move your shoulders around, move your body, wiggle your toes and fingers, and bring your thoughts down into this big brain down here in our body. Hey, any questions, any thoughts, discoveries? All right. Okay, so let's play with the yes breath with self-love as a, yeah, let's play with that. So just do your best, okay? Just do your best to do a nice gentle yes breath right now. So this way you're bringing your thoughts down into the count, down into your breath. We're going to play with a self-love journey. As you're breathing, put this sentence out. If you can say it out loud where you are, that'd be great. And then you're going to pause about 10 seconds in between each time you say this sentence. So you're going to say it out loud. You're going to take probably one full breath. And then you're going to say it out loud again and just play with this idea. So as you're breathing, say, I love myself unconditionally. You want to say it in your head, that's fine too, but saying it out loud can be powerful. I love myself unconditionally. And then take one or two breaths in between. And just keep repeating that. I love myself unconditionally. Take some breaths in between. Judy, if you're comfortable doing it with your head that tilted, if you're comfortable doing that, then that's okay. But so often, if we go too far back, it actually closes our breath coming down, and then your neck might get sore after a while. So keep it gentle. You can just keep it gentle. Unless it really feels good, then go for it. But yeah, keep repeating that in your head or out loud. I love myself unconditionally. And go ahead and take a pause. And just kind of notice what, if there was any talk, if there was any talk in between your I love yourself unconditionally. I know when I first started that, I had that in between thought of like, no, you don't. Yeah, sure. There's that little voice. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was a stupid exercise or whatever, whatever voice comes in there. And so my invitation as on this journey is, can you love yourself for being critical and judgmental on yourself? It's the next layer of unconditional love to yourself, is when you're judging, criticizing yourself or judging, criticizing someone else. Oh, catch it and go, oh, can I love myself for being hard on myself? And if it's a no, can I love myself for saying no? And it's a constant layering of loving everything about us, because we're human, so we have all those parts of us that judge us and criticize us, and so yeah, so really taking that down next level, next level. If it's a no, keep saying, can I love myself for saying no? Ah, take some breaths. I know as I did this practice, this is part of Hendricks' Learning to Love Yourself workbook, that just that one practice really also has just opened me up. Less drain on myself. Because, would you do that to your best friend or your child when they're having a hard time? Are you going to be judging them? Oh, yeah, you do. No, I don't think you would. I know I would be like, oh, come here, man. Let me just be with you. Give them a hug, put my arm around them. Or if that's my child, I want to hold them, let them feel, be with their feelings. So for ourselves, and what I've found is, for me anyway, I know I'm the hardest for myself. I'm the hardest on myself, basically. So learning to love yourself fully is a really beautiful practice. Anybody have any questions about that one? Or how you experienced that? No? Okay. Awesome. Okay. And, I saw Etienne was standing earlier. So if you want, we can like to play with this standing. Because often we'll be standing a lot, standing in a line, standing at the grocery store, anywhere where things can happen to us. Because life is always flowing and it's always coming. And it's how do we react to it? How do we accept it? How can we just be with that? So with the yes breath, when you're just practicing at home, what I like to imagine is you're not going to be arching and rounding as much because you're standing, and you can. But I like to look at it as just a gentle swing, like you're on a little swing. And I like to use my hands. I open my hands up when I'm inhaling and exhaling. Just a gentle swing. As you're breathing, playing with this breath, just notice your feet on the ground. Just feel your feet on the ground as you're breathing. You can ground yourself. If you, after you practice the swinging, you can just stand, keeping your knees nice and loose, feeling your feet on the ground. You can put your hand on your belly so you can just expand. So this is a good practice when you're standing somewhere. You know, might look weird if you're swaying forward and back, and it's okay if you're weird. That's fine. But being able to just stand and breathe into your belly. It's a beautiful part about conscious breathing is you're bringing all your thoughts down. Because we're not staying stuck in our heads, which we live in a head-centric world where most of us live up here, and we forget about this big, beautiful machine down here that can inform us of so much. Our body can tell us so much information when we listen to it. So bringing our thoughts down into our breath, bringing our thoughts down into the count, helps us presence ourselves, helps us come back into our creative brain. And then now just slowly walk around your room, wherever you're at, just a little, just step around and see if you can keep that breath flowing as you're walking, the yes breath down into your belly. Keep your hand on your belly if you need some guidance on your tummy, if you feel it expanding and contracting as you're walking. Make your way back to your chair. And again, just keep noticing your breath as you're moving, as you're sitting back down. Notice your breath. And if you're holding it, that's all right. Just take an exhale and like, oops, I was holding my breath. Be kind to yourself as you go through this world. And that's a really great way to bring this practice into a walk. If you're going walking, taking a walk outside, just notice your breathing. It can really enhance what you're seeing out there. It can really enhance what you smell and hear. All the senses gets heightened as you bring breath fully into your body because it's moving the blood, it's getting the cells excited in there. Just opening everything up. Wow, look at this. You know, you might notice something in your house that you haven't in a long time. Like, wow, I didn't looking at that picture and it really the colors of that is looking really beautiful right now. So really play with that. Play with breathing. You know, in every moment of your day, bring breath into it. It's magical. You know, I think I'll throw in. We just talked about the yes breath. You can do this one laying down too. It's really nice. You're just laying flat on your back. Your knees will be up and your feet flat on the ground. So your knees are up. And you can just do it laying down. And when you're laying, you can play with the arching. You arch very gently arching and then pressing your back onto the bed or the floor. So it's a great time when you wake up or before you go to sleep, or when you wake, if you wake up in the middle of the night, practice the yes breath. I know when I do, it always puts me back to sleep. Full breaths. Like take a few minutes, it's okay. Instead of playing in whatever ruminating in my brain when I wake up, no, bring it down to my breath. Bring it down to the count of my breath. Bring it up to the quality of my breath. The air going through my nose. I like to make it fuller if I'm in the middle of the night. Just make it a little bigger. Expand the breath a little more. And so just experiment with that when you're waking up, before you go to sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, play with that breath. It's magical. There's another breath that Gay Hendricks created. It's called the healing reset. He calls it healing and reset breath. And this one you can do any time of the day too. And the science behind this breath is it balances your acid alkaline in your body. So it balances the CO2 and oxygen that comes together, which creates in my experience, a boom, just like a whoa, this feels really nice. This opens up things in my mind. And you use this one for if you just want, not just, if you want a little reset in your day, you're feeling a little groggy, you do this breath. When you want to make a decision about something that is, when you want to make a decision, you can do this breath. Yeah, or you're working and you feel stuck, do this breath. It resets and heals your body. So what it looks like, I'm going to show it, I'm going to demonstrate first and then we can play with it. So you're going to be taking a big, deep inhale down into your belly. So it's this one you get a real big breath. And then imagine there's a candle about arm length away, and you, with your mouth, you blow gently out, flickering the candle. You're squeezing all the air out of your belly. So your belly, you're squeezing, getting every bit of air out. And then you pause, holding the air out. So you're not breathing in. You pause, holding the air out. Soften your body, relax it. Hold that out as long as you can without fighting it. It's not a competition. And then when you need to breathe in, you breathe in through your nose, slowly down into your belly. And then after that, you just take some easy breaths in between. So you don't do this one multiple times in a row. This is one breath. Take some easy breaths. And then you feel a sense of calmness, and then you do another one. I like to do about 2 or 3 of them if I'm feeling really stuck or like, So we can play with this one if you want. So basically, I'm gonna take a nice big breath, blow the candle out, not fast, just a nice steady air out of your mouth. Squeeze your stomach, get all the air out. When all the air out, pause there, don't breathe in. Try and soften your body and relax as much as you can. And then when your body says breathe in, take a breath in, and then take some easy breaths in between. Gaze at a point where he can hold the breath out for a minute. The longer you're able to hold that breath out without, like, it's not, you're not holding it out, like trying to fight it. You're just holding it out, being gentle. It's telling you how balanced you are. So even the little ones, even if it's 5 seconds out, you're starting to balance your acid alkaline in your body. But the longer and longer you hold it out, it's telling you that your breathing has been full, you're breathing fully into your belly. So you're really balancing everything in your body. And it took me a while before I could hit a minute. And still, sometimes I don't. I might get 45 seconds, 50 seconds, 35 sometimes. And it's not it's a gauge, but it's not something that I like to focus on too much, because then it can become like a competition, or, oh, I'm not holding it out long enough, I should be able to hold it. The shoulds come in. So it's just about, oh, okay, pause. And I love myself right now for being competitive and being hard. Yes. Okay. And then so do some healing breaths, reset breaths, and just play with that. That one's very, very powerful, and you can do that anytime. And for cravings, for any big decisions, for resetting and getting your body, your brain going again. If, like I said, if you're spinning wheels and stuck in there, do about 2 or 3 healing breaths and then see what happens. That's what I like to, that's what I've learned, is like experiment and see what you discover. And it's fun to just play with that idea and experiment. That's the biggest thing, is experiment and practice, just like everything else. Practice, 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 practice all the tools you've learned in your lives. Practice breathing consciously. And the more you practice, the better you get at it. I'm gonna take a drink of water. Anybody got any questions, insights, anything you want to share?
Hi, Dean. I have a question about the standing yes breath.
Sure.
And that was, it didn't seem like you arch really. Like I can see swaying forward, but it doesn't seem like you fold down when you come back. It just like you stand up straight again, right? Kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're not going back again like you would sitting down.
yeah, the sitting one, you have more control of your,
More of an arch at the end, right? Yeah.
and the standing one is just like a little swing, like you're almost,
Okay.
you're just swinging forward and swinging back. So it's just a small movement.
Okay. So it's not the arch as much.
No,
Okay.
it'll be too uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah. And then your head is pretty level too, right? During it?
Mhm. This one is like, when you practice, what I like to think about it is, you just practice this one at home. So when you're in line, or if you're getting, in a meeting or talking to someone that
Uh-huh.
uncomfortable, that you can stand there and, oh, okay, let me start breathing
Yeah.
into the belly.
Can hardly notice it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah. I could see you doing it. I was just not seeing the arch and I wanted to be sure about that. So
Yeah, good. Thank you. Good question. But yeah, it's that's the times you want to
yeah.
jump in, especially what I find, and being around people that might trigger you, or
Mm-hmm.
like I said, people at work, or anywhere, actually, just anywhere that you feel, ooh, let me take some breaths,
Mm.
bring my thoughts down into your body.
Is that the fear melter right down into the ground through your feet, right? Get it
Yes,
all the way, pack it down.
yes. If anybody doesn't know what Deborah was talking about, so there is a movement practice that we've learned, that Katie Hendricks has done research and played with, and it's called fear melters. And what I was saying earlier about feeling your feet rooting into the ground. So just imagine there's roots coming down through your feet into the earth, and you're just feeling the groundness connection to the earth. And that's getting you out of your head, bringing you down. If you feel yourself fleeing forward, fleeing to the past, or just up in your head. Oh, feel my feet on the ground. Okay. Thoughts down into your body. So that's really, that one's a nice, simple one to play with too. If you find yourself in your head, like, hey, where's my feet? Wiggle my toes. Oh, okay. There's my toes. There's my feet. And if you play with that a lot, it brings the thoughts right down. And ground myself to this earth and I'm not floating around. I also like to play with this. Oh, Jason, you got something?
Just, I have a comment, an observation,
Sure.
and maybe just get some feedback, your thoughts on it. When I'm breathing, when I'm doing especially when I'm doing the in breath, in my diaphragm and sort of in the solar plexus area, I can feel like little pockets of tension. And that makes the breathing not real smooth. What I imagine the yes breath to be is like really smooth in, really smooth out. But my actual experience is like the out breath is pretty smooth, but the in breath is kind of jerky a little bit because I can feel those tensions that are just in there. So I don't know, is it just a matter of continuing to do it for those to soften, or just that practice of unconditionally loving that part of myself? But it doesn't seem to go away. I've been doing the yes breath for a bit of time now, and it's a part of the experience. So I'm just wondering what you have to say about that.
Great question. Thank you for sharing that. And being around Gay, and he talks about that a lot, actually. Like, which direction do you feel and you said the in breath, the out breath is when you feel the jiggle, or the in breath is when you feel the
In, right?
in
Feel
breath.
it mostly with the in breath when I'm bringing breath into the body.
So what I've learned from Gay is he'll say on the in breath, it's how you're experiencing life. So be curious about how am I experiencing life? How am I taking in what's happening? Because the out breath is about expression. How am I expressing easily? And often he said it ties in for all the breathings that he's done. People, wherever it's jiggly, is like, okay, I'm not experiencing life in a certain way. So just be curious, like, how am I experiencing my life daily? How am I experiencing my life in every moment?
Yeah.
And then when you exhale, if it's easy, like, oh, some people can express easily. And if it's jiggly going out, oh, how am I holding in my full expression in life?
Yeah.
Holding back my movement, my muchness, as they call it, like full out. Because there's I learned, you can, if you're a bold, big person, you keep doing that, or if you're traumatized when you're younger, like, calm down, you're too loud, you're too much, and we get squashed. That can cause so as you open up and like, this is me, this is who I am, be with me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I thought, Dean, when you were talking about putting your hands on the stomach, like I felt when I breathe in, like it was more like in my chest, and I had to kind of focus it to go down. But by putting my hands on my stomach, it feels smoother. Like I think it's just like somehow inflating the balloon without thinking about the choppy trip down.
Yeah, good. And then Jason, I don't know if you're familiar with the toning breath, the diaphragmatic toning breath.
Yeah,
So,
I am. I do the toning breath as well. I try
okay,
to do it daily, but it usually ends up being more like every other day.
yeah, that's okay. So that one is to help with your diaphragm, because you're opening and close your diaphragm opens and closes. So the more we can get it to open, that's when the in-breath can come in fully. And then the in-breath opens it up. So the diaphragmatic toning breath, it exercises your diaphragm. And then, so yeah, that's the thing, is just keep practicing, loving what it's happening, like, and being curious and curious about what's happening, and not, oh my God, here's that thing happening in my stomach again. How come I can't breathe right? What's going on? Pause. What's going on down there? What would you like to say to me? Like, just play with that idea of, like, whatever's happening in your body, just talk to it. Like, hey, what's happening down there?
Mm.
And it's such a different way of thinking, not being in here, and really getting in touch with this beautiful machine that we have. And we can start here, we start up here, we can go down to the heart, and then now it's like, now we can go, I can go anyway to the whole body. And it's really magical.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Dean. I really love the idea of getting curious and asking, especially asking that question, how am I experiencing my life daily? I'm going to use that. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, these are all things that I've done myself, and experienced myself, so I can share that. It's like, yeah, try this or try that. And then plus being around Gay and osmosing as much as I can, when I'm around him, because if you ever experience Gay in person, he just has this. He just walks in, and he's one of those guys that walk in the room and it's like, whoa, you're like, whoa, I want some of that. He's not even talking. I'm like, I want some of that. Whatever he has, I want that. But yeah, it's been fun. It's been such a beautiful journey being with them, and continuing. It's a continuing expansion of. That's the invitation. It's a continuing growing every day of our lives, and it's whatever speed you're going at, it's okay. And there's no end except the end of life. It's just, how can I do something every day to keep myself engaged in this beautiful planet that we have, and engaged for myself, so I can be a beacon or invitation for people around me and wherever I interact with. And of course, we're humans, so we're gonna get triggered. We're gonna mess up, and okay, be kind. That's what I love about Katie and Gay's work. When you're in their workshops, she'll always say, "You're gonna mess up and you're gonna screw up. Okay, it's okay. Just have that in mind. You're going to mess up. How do you treat yourself when that happens? Because we got to get out of that perfectionist persona that keeps us locked in. I gotta get it right. I gotta get it perfect. Then it becomes tight. Then nothing happens. In my experience, anyway, and people that I've coached and played with. Yeah.
Well, Dean?
Yes, Rosemary.
Oh, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I have actually have an appointment now. I'm calling from the East Coast. It's in Syracuse, New York.
Okay.
I'm going to have to leave, but I really appreciated. I really enjoyed listening to you. I come to breathing from the tradition of Leonard Orr and Sandra Ray.
Okay.
I actually was trained as a rebirther. And
Oh.
so I'm always interested in, I mean, the breath has just been something that I've been very interested in. And what I learned today is just wonderful. I studied Gay's stuff when he wrote that book I was trying to think of the title. It goes back to the 80s. What was that breathing book he wrote in the 80s?
But yes, conscious breathing.
Right, no, Radiant, is it Radiant something?
Oh, yeah, radiance. The radiance book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, but anyway, I really need to go, but thank you so
Yeah.
much. It was nice being with all of
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, anybody have any questions or thoughts or well, how do you feel right now?
I'm wondering how to do the diaphragmatic breathing that you
Sure,
mentioned.
I can show you that. Got a couple more minutes. Usually you do this one laying down, but I'll show it to
Okay.
you standing because it's I've been doing it so long, so you're gonna be laying down with your knees up and your feet on the ground.
Okay.
This one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a deep breath in. This one,
Yeah.
you hold the breath, and then you're gonna pump it like there's a ball in there. So it's gonna be like boop, 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 boop.
Oh, okay. I'm with you.
It's like arching, it's basically arching and rolling your back, but it's a
Yeah.
little faster.
But it's not just pumping, it's going up and down or it's whatever. Yeah.
Like imagining there's a ball of air in there.
Yeah.
So, but holding your
I'm
breath.
with you. Okay.
And then, but don't do it too long, and don't do this one at night too much.
And you exhale through your mouth when you're done?
Yeah, just and then take some
Okay.
deep breaths. Because this one can actually get you pumped up.
Energized. Yeah.
So late at night might not be, ideal to practice this
Yeah.
one. But yeah, so practice that one. Don't do a lot because the diaphragm gets tired very quickly.
Yeah.
But if you just practice that a few times, get a nice rhythm, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also all these free information and videos on the Foundation for Conscious Living. So if you go on that site, Gaze on there, he has all kinds of breathing practice, everything that I've been sharing with you tonight. And so much information. They're so generous and so loving. They're just like, here, watch this video. Use this stuff. Use it, please.
I know.
Because
Yeah. It's
just,
kind of confusing because they said everything goes through the big leaps. And then they go, well, we also have the Hendricks Institute. And oh, by the
Correct.
way, there's also this foundation for conscious living. So it's like,
Yeah.
where is everything?
yeah. Yeah, the Hendricks Institute has more of the relationship stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then
So which one does? Foundations?
yeah, the Hearts and Harmony and Hendricks.com. But the Foundation for Conscious Living has a lot of free videos, different practices you can use, look at. And Restoring Resourcefulness is a really great site to look at. They have all the FACT, fully presencing yourself, all that information. So yeah, go play of that. It's
Okay,
wonderful
great.
site.
Dean, I have one more quick question if there's time. If there's not, it's okay.
No, I'm fine. Yeah.
So I'm gonna draw on your personal trainer experience here, and I'm wondering, I like to run as a form of exercise, and so I'm wondering, like, does the yes breath, does that eventually get integrated? Is that like the basic breath that you want to bring to things? So like if you're working out or you're running, is it like this, just being aware of that movement of the diaphragm and kind of doing a modified version of that? I mean, what's your experience? I guess I'm asking, what's your experience of bringing it into like active working out and exercise, or do you bring it into that?
I play with that a lot, yeah, because I get what you're saying, because I do more sprinting stuff and but the breath will, it still comes up here, my lungs still open up, but then I also been finding that it comes down too, like like it fills up more, is what my experience. I'm not like staying in one spot.
Yeah.
It just kind of, it's weird. I don't, sometimes I'm like, what's
Yeah.
happening? Like everything's breathing.
Yeah.
My tummy and my chest. And it's like, and it feels
Yeah.
more full. Because I'm not worried about holding my tummy tight and trying to look good, make sure I got my six pack showing. Now I can leave my belly out more and be like, I don't care what people think. I feel better breathing in my belly than worrying about
Mhm.
standing
Well,
up straight.
if you were sitting in a chair, it seems like it would be naturally slower and more conscious than if you were running down the street or somewhere, right? You wouldn't be able to control it as much, right?
Yeah.
It seems. I'm not a runner, but I'm just thinking.
He's actually had some experiments with forgot what book it's in. Could be conscious breathing that he's experimented with some college runners about breathing down in your belly. It's a when you really focus on it and run it's very different, and it's kind of challenging because you're so used to breathing up here, especially when you're running, because it's not a calming. I mean, it can be, and you're
Yeah.
running, so everything's pumped up. But I think as the longer that I've practiced every day breathing into my belly, then it kind of just did its own thing.
Mhm.
Like the whole breath just plays in the whole body. So it's been fun. I don't feel that burn. Sometimes when you're doing intense stuff, it can up here for me anyway. It can be like, oh, but now it's more. Oh, okay, I'm getting more oxygen.
Mhm.
So yeah, keep experimenting and keep practicing. So I can. That's my experience.
Dean,
Great. Thanks,
hello.
Dean.
Hi, Jerry. Yeah.
I'm finding that if I just move my head 1 or 2 degrees up and then back to the horizon again, or maybe dip it a bit, is enough. And
Yes.
you're very unobtrusive. You can do it anywhere in a lineup at the grocery store,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
walking around, and you're not like going like this, but
Yeah.
you're just.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm thinking
And,
very gentle, easy. Great. Thank you.
yeah, it's enough.
Ah, all right. Well,
That's-
again, appreciating all of you for showing up and sharing your thoughts and experiences. And like I said, check out Foundation for Conscious Living. Check out that site. There's plenty of
Mhm.
reading that we've done tonight. It's on there. It's coming from Gay. So,
Um,
and thank you. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you for showing up. Good. And so bright.